This is like the lesson that we sort of get into what probability really is. Okay, so that's finding the probability of an event. So can you write down the learning goal and title here? So calculate probabilities using the probability equation. So that's essentially what we're going to do today. But an event is just anything. What's the probability of rolling a heads? What's the probability of rolling a 3 when you roll a die? Probability that it will rain tomorrow. Probability that the Storm will win. They didn't win. Probability that, I don't know, Australia will win the Rugby World Cup. Australia will win the Soccer World Cup. Australia will win the Cricket World Cup. So probability that you'll win the dance competition. So that's the event. The event is whatever it is, okay? Probability that you'll get the highest in the test. So all those things. All right, so the best way to do it is I'm going to use the probability notation that I want you to use, but it's in an example. So let's look at this example. Using probability notation, e.g., so this is example 1, and this will be example 2. With rolling a normal 6-sided die, what is the probability of rolling a 4? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put P, so that means probability, and in brackets I'm going to put the event, all right? The event of what's going on, all right? So I've got the probability, and in the brackets I'm going to put the event. Now, a lot of formula sheets will tell you number of outcomes at the bottom, number of possible outcomes. So the bottom essentially becomes a sample space, number of outcomes, and then this is the number of favorable outcomes. Now that's really confusing to me. So what I do is that I just teach you with an example. So let's use this example. What is the event? The event is rolling a 4. So I'm just going to write 4 in there. So the event here is 4. The number of favorable outcomes. So in a die, how many times does 4 come up? Once. How many possible outcomes are there? 6. Okay, and that's the answer. So the probability of rolling a 4 is 1/6. Okay, so when tossing a coin, what is the probability of rolling a head? So I'm going to use my notation. So I'm going to go probability in brackets. What's the event? Well, it's rolling a head. So I'm going to put head. And in a coin, how many sides have heads on it? It's 1 out of how many possible sides? 2. And that's it there. So that's using your probability notation. So, yeah. So if you've got a jar of lollies, what's the probability of getting a red lolly? Well, you see how many red lollies there are in the jar over how many lollies there are in total. Okay? Okay, there's another thing I need you to write down, and that's mutually exclusive and non-mutually exclusive events. So mutually exclusive events are events that have nothing in common. So for example, mutually exclusive events is, say I've got all the numbers from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So something that's mutually exclusive, I would ask something like rolling an odd and even number when rolling a 10-sided die. Okay, you can't have an odd and an even number. A number is either odd or even. So mutually exclusive events is the case. The case will be that we're either rolling for odd numbers or we're rolling for even numbers, but we can't do both in one roll. Okay. Non-mutually exclusive events are things that have. So I'm going to put that, e.g., odd, even. They're very different. Something that you can say the same numbers from here. So let's do that. So we've got the same numbers. Let's look at, we go even numbers So this is an example. Even numbers and less than 5. They're not mutually exclusive because even though it's just talking about the even numbers, that was a mistake of mine. It's also talking about numbers that are less than 5, and we know that there is 2 numbers that are less than 5, just here and here. Okay, so they're not mutually exclusive. You can have even numbers and less than 5. Okay, it's not like odd and even that you can't have 2 different things. Okay. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Make sure you write these down, and that's it. Peace out.